There was a lot of people on the launch pad, like watching it live, didn't fucking go. So NASA says this. He says, there's a non-zero chance we'll have a launch on Friday now. Yeah, we really need time to look at all the information, all the data. So that's what he's saying. That's what Mike Seraphin, who's the Artemis mission manager for NASA. That's what he's saying after they got to the launch date. After 5 years of failures, 16 failed attempts, and they still need time to look at the data to see if they can go this Friday.
You are!
There it is.
Hell yeah, boss!
Oh, hey! Oh, yeah!
Good morning! And welcome to episode 1028 of Hard Factor. It is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. Thank you for cheating on the news with us today. We've got an all segment cup of coffee in the big time. 3 segments for you. And then Pat's got a DMV double violence on deck after that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know. It's our hometown, so I can't hate it too hard, right?
Wait. Not the Department of Motor Vehicles, D.C., Maryland,
No,
Virginia.
the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area.
Right.
If you ever wonder, how are these guys so tough, the 4 of us, you're going to get an insight into why.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking that these days. How are these guys tough?
That's what the word on the street is about
DMs
Hard
today.
Factor. People are
These guys are very tough.
they can't believe how tough we are.
right.
Wow, they must have come from a rough area. Mark's got an insane international elderly update in the TikTok international moment in the
These
whole.
guys are old and they are nuts. And they're not in the U.S.
They must have
Good.
seen. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Are they? Yeah, they're not. They have low nuts. Is that what you said, Mark?
Well, they're nuts. One of them for sure has low nuts. Actually, both of them for sure have low nuts. We can
I
tell
saw some
by
of the
pictures.
I bet
Yeah.
these guys have some
Yeah.
saggy balls. And then Wes has another mass shooting, sadly, to close things out today, ending on a somber note, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it. Not great, you know.
Why are we doing that?
Well, we just got something we got to talk about, Mark.
Okay.
Right? We don't write the news, everybody.
It's true.
We just report it and try.
God does. You take it
Yeah.
up with him or her.
You guys
Pretty
didn't hear
much.
about this?
The mass shooting? No,
Yeah.
it's going to be news to me.
No.
No, it's a bad one. It's a bad one.
I muted mass shooting notifications in my news algorithms.
That's a good idea. I mean, to stay saner, to stay happier.
Mm-hmm.
Sad
It's an
reality.
ostrich option they have in the new Google News app.
Oh,
Right.
I thought that was the fact checking thing they had on the side, but
It's that and ostrich. You can go ostrich on whatever you want.
I see. Nice. Good news also, from bad news to good news, actually, flip it around. Next Fatathon starts next week. So mentally, physically, fridge-wise, if you have a broken freezer in your garage, fix it all. Get ready. Fatathon next week. You guys ready to lose weight?
I'm so ready. I've been a piece of shit the last couple weeks.
I have a cake in my fridge from my birthday.
Got to get rid of it.
Shaped like a hamburger with fries.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
At least your birthday was right before it starts. Perfect timing.
I know. And I got some donuts from this place in Asbury Park called Purple Glaze.
It's okay.
And I ate like 7 of them.
That's good this week.
That's a good donut place.
Get it
That's
all out.
great.
Get it all out.
I
of your
had
system.
2 liters of Coke. I had 4 liters of Coke over the weekend.
I went to a doctor's appointment
Soda King.
today and almost passed out. I didn't know they were going to take blood, and I hadn't eaten anything, and the nurses had to rush in like ice packs and like a juice box for me.
They
'cause
looked
I
at
was-
you. They looked at you. They didn't even ask if you didn't.
She's
eat
like, "Have you had any water or food today?" I was like, "No, I didn't know this was going to happen." And she's like, and I was like, and then like she started calling in the nurses because I was literally going to pass out. It was
It's like
it was
this
quite,
guy's
it was
saying he
embarrassing.
didn't eat. Do
You
believe
gave
it?
blood?
Yeah, I gave blood.
No, he ate. Trust me.
Don't
You
ask
passed
him.
all the tests and everything. That's good, Wes. Man, it means
Yeah. I didn't pass out. I'm just a weak man.
Do they
You're
ask
keeping
you how many-
yourself healthier than me, though, because I used to give blood all the time, and I do not think I would pass the screening room
Yeah.
at this stage.
Do they still ask you how many guys you fucked in the past month?
No, they didn't ask me that.
They ask you for sure.
They ask
you
You
that
can see it
one.
on my face.
They ask you every time on that one. They ask you that, and also have you left the country. That's an
Yeah, have
every
you
time.
traveled to Africa
Yep.
or banged dudes?
Did you
Yep,
bang a
those
guy in
are-
another country? Because you absolutely have to get out.
Then they throw you out.
Yeah,
Okay, so you banged some dudes and you traveled to Africa. Have you banged any African dudes?
that's right.
Then you're really out.
Sir, they just ship you straight to a clinic. Okay.
Will,
Toss your blood in the trash immediately.
has your blood excuse expired? Mine expired recently. Because if you travel to Africa, you just can't. And then you're like, sorry, I'm in Africa. I've traveled.
Oh
to
no,
Africa.
I used to go all the time. I used to organize the blood drives for the company I worked at. So I used to go all the time. I was a big time blood donor, and then I got really out of shape, and I was like, because if you have to be kind of like taking care of yourself to give blood all the time because you have to pass the thing.
Oh, yeah.
These days, I don't think I would. I'm telling you, I'd be on the ropes.
After
don't
the
want
fatathon,
your blood.
we'll all give blood after the fatathon.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll be
Wes
in
won't,
shape to
but-
do it.
Wes
The
doesn't
three of us
to.
who have consciences
anymore.
will.
No.
That was probably my last time.
Really? Oh, it's a good
No.
thing to do.
No,
There's
I
always
just
a
need to
blood
eat.
shortage.
And then
You
I
were
drank the
donating
juice.
blood, or was
No,
it?
no, no,
it was
I
a-
was not
it was a
donating
test.
blood.
Yeah,
No, it was a test.
Wes wasn't donating. It was for his
Oh,
own
so you
good.
didn't even
I
give
was
like a
gonna roll with
pint.
that, but
You didn't
What's
even
that?
give a pint. You gave like
no,
a
but it was a
vial.
lot of tests. So they
were
filled
just
up like
checking to
7
see-
vials.
You
were
needed
checking to
wait.
see if you
You
had
needed
diabetes.
Cheez-Its
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a vial of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But this
damn.
is for Wes. Wes wasn't doing it for the
Well,
good of the community.
All
or
I
anything.
drank was like 4 cups of coffee, and then I drank the juice box too fast because
All
I thought I
right.
was gonna pass out. And
No,
then I
we're
just
all
puked in the
donating
bag.
blood.
We're all donating blood
donating
after the
blood at
fatathon.
the end of this. Yeah, Wes is gonna up it from the vial to the bag.
You shouldn't have drank that juice so fast. Now you're gonna puke. It's like, at least I'm not gonna pass out.
Take it all back.
This guy can walk. I'm sure of it.
Thanks, Pat. I was gonna go with the Good Samaritan, but you know.
No, I'm not letting that happen.
It was
Wes
just to see if
checks
you
in.
had diabetes.
This-
Let's do the news.
That's
This
amazing.
blood is just for me, right?
Yeah.
This blood's not going anywhere else.
You're not
right?
taking any more than you need, right? Just a little bit. I can't take much more. I'm about to pass out.
It was a
Okay, let's do the news. Cup of coffee in the big time up first.
Yeah. Cup of coffee in the big time.
Starting off today with a fun fact. Gonna again let the joke of the day thread grow. I feel like that's that. Doing a little alternate, little A B
Did you
here.
say Charles hates the joke of the day?
Oh, really?
It was not. It didn't go over well.
I'd
But
imagine the joke
Charles
of the day.
hates the joke of the day. Yeah.
People love the joke of the day thread. Discord.
What did he say about the joke of the day?
Patreon.com?
He said unpopular opinion, but I hate the joke of the day segment, and then everyone
Very
was like,
unpopular
Yes, that's
opinion.
unpopular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus,
Well, he'll be
Charles.
happy today. Charles, you're in luck. Only a fun fact. No joke of the day today. This one comes from listener Simon C. And he sent it to us and he said, male spiders will often wrap up bugs and gift them to female spiders to increase their chance of mating, like a gift there. But sometimes male spiders wrap up random trash, hoping the female spiders do not notice until after they've gotten
Ow!
lucky.
Ow!
Hound
Hound dogs.
Yeah.
Come on.
pretty smart by the spiders, you know?
No, don't open it now.
Yeah.
Don't open it
Let's
now.
have
It's like
sex
giving a
first.
rhinestone engagement ring.
Yes.
Get away
We're
with
still
it.
5 days from Christmas. Don't open it now.
Yeah.
Cubic zirconia. Yeah, pretty good. Nice trick by the male spiders. Learn a lesson out there, dudes, if you want to save some cash. All right. There was lots honorable mentions. There was lots of football news. Jimmy G got re-signed to the Niners. People with Trey Lance on the fantasy team probably a little nervous. Tony Jefferson, surprise cut from the Ravens, and more football news that Pat is going to bring you later. There was also U.S. Open news with Serena. I think it's her last one, and Novak Djokovic not being there. A lot of, the drama surrounding that. I guess it's starting. More not good financial news from the Fed. More bad shooting news from the Safeway shooting in Bend, Oregon. RIP to the 2 men who fought with the shooter and died. Of course, Wes is also bringing you more mass shootings. Well, that wasn't a mass, two dead, but still RIP.
Right.
But Wes is bringing you mass shooting news later. Whoa, let's get away from that. And of course, Twitter, as always, Civil War, like 90,000 people by the time it was done.
Is that a new Avengers movie?
No, it's just Twitter, obsessing about a potential civil war popping off as always.
Damn.
Blue MAGA was another one on there. Don't know what that is. Didn't want to click. And then Baghdad, which is something we will talk about.
Okay.
But that was what was going on Twitter.
That's
Also,
because Sorry, well,
No,
the reason all that shit was trending is because Joe Biden came out and he said he hated the MAGA Republicans, like in a statement.
Oh.
He said he has no problem with conservative Republicans, but he said he basically just said that MAGA Republicans are pieces of shit.
So that's the reaction on Twitter,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Also, Antifa was trending later with over 50,000 tweets. So it's just a real hellscape over there on twitter.com.
Maybe those Civil War people are right.
Why is it always trending on Twitter?
Hey, they're talking about an actual civil war?
Yes, you click into it
Yeah.
and people are like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wait to kill some Democrats. Yeah.
Well, it's both ways. No, it's like
Some people
no,
think
the
it's us.
Democrats-
The other one
Some
was
people
over.
think it's us versus the government.
no.
The
The
Democrats
other-
and Republicans will team up together.
the other one-
Last
are
one was
like-
about slavery. This one's about Twitter.
No, this one was it's usually like Wes. It's definitely both ways. But the next 3 segments will give you the news you need to catch up on today. You don't need to know any of those hundreds of thousands of tweets about nonsense on
If the
Twitter.
Civil War happens, we're all fucked. So
Right, you'll know. You'll know. You'll pretty much see it
You won't be listening
from
to this
your
fucking
your
show.
windows. Yeah, you'll be
Yeah.
able to know. You won't need Twitter to tell you. Okay.
I would love to see some Jersey Guidos fighting in the Civil War, dude. I'm on the right team for entertainment up here now.
Every state
Jersey
would be
hilarious.
Every
Yeah,
state,
'cause-
swing states would be the craziest because
There'll be misinformation campaigns.
Watch out.
You hear? Hey, did you hear what the South said about your mother? They did not.
These
About
days, it's
my
not
mother?
South. That's what I'm saying, Pat. It's not South versus West. It's neighbor versus neighbor. It's
Why don't you
blue
come over
versus
here and
red.
fight me in the
That's what they're
gym?
talking about.
Say, why don't you,
How much
House
can you
to
bench
house.
press?
yeah.
It's insane. Okay, let's get away from the Civil War. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to have a second one. That would be horrible, right? I mean,
Yes.
Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, to the Frog of War, right? Instead of Civil War, let's go to Frog of War, where it's happening in other countries. The Iraqi Revolution, guys, I think pretty much has begun. A guy named Muqtada al-Sadr, there he is. There's his screaming protesters with a picture of
That
him
dude's kind of jacked. Look at his arm.
in the middle. Yeah, he's thick. He's thick, and he always
pretty
wears that like a black like a ring around the top of his head. He's got a very unique look.
Oh, we're talking about the
No,
guy
I'm saying
who's
the
on the
protester.
poster,
Yeah,
or the
the
guy
protester.
holding up the poster.
Look at the protester's bicep.
Yes, he's jacked. There's
Yeah.
some thick men that support Muqtada al-Sadr.
And they don't have proper weights over there, so I don't know how he's training. That's
Get him in the ring with that Iranian
field
Hulk.
level experience. Yeah, rocks.
Yeah. Definitely rocks. They're in a desert. And this guy, Muqtada al-Sadr, he's always been against the USA. He was pro Saddam, I think, and he was against the installed Iraqi government ever since the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. And so what Muqtada did is he resigned from government this week, causing his supporters to immediately and violently storm all of the Capitol buildings in Baghdad, and they made January 6th look like child's play. Here's a clip. I'm going to turn down the volume
Look like
because of
January
all of the
5th.
gunfire. But here's a clip so you guys can see in the background as we discuss it. This was the streets near the government buildings last night in Baghdad. And you can see, obviously, had to be evacuated, at least partially off of the roof by helicopter. And also, as is tradition at this point, just like over in Sri Lanka, once those armed rioters got into the palace, they took over the pool. for a
Okay,
nice
now
little
this is
dip.
Hell yes.
Nice
Uh,
little dip, nice little photo op.
It's like a
That's
Vegas
classic. I
pool.
mean, here's the truth about humans. It doesn't matter what your political ideology is, how fired up you are. They can't resist a sweet pool.
No, if you get into the richest person in the country's pool and you forced him out, you got to get in the pool. That's
I mean,
Yeah,
these guys
that's
are
right.
having a great time.
They're peas.
Well,
Also,
did the-
lots of shirts on. Did you guys see that? I mean, how
Yeah,
many? What I'd say,
chunky
10%
guys.
with shirts
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Chunky guys in the pool.
I'm pretty
Big
worked
arms,
up, but
as
I'd
we
still
noted
like to
earlier.
keep on the shirt. You know,
I work out a lot, but I also eat a lot. You know,
those guys are taking pictures with the cameras.
I just don't want anyone laughing at me. I don't want to lose their respect, you know.
I got big
been
nipples.
rioting all day
I
together,
can't help
so.
it, the big nipples.
I have tits, and I don't know.
What if we
big
need
nipples.
to quickly leave? I already will have my shirt on if we have to go somewhere fast. You know,
Oh man! So
Luckily, these
absolute
guys have
best.
never seen pepperonis. Otherwise, they'd be ripping on me.
There's got to be some big, beautiful brown ones inside that pool. So we're gonna see what happens with that Iraqi palace pool and everything else over in Iraq
so they're
because
ignoring the curfew, huh? Will
Oh yeah, no, Mark, it's a total overthrow.
Yeah.
Total government overthrow. It looks like we'll see what goes down, but I'm assuming the U.S. is probably not happy since the government they installed is the one getting overthrown, just like in Afghanistan.
Well, that's 2 in a year.
Yeah, one in 2021, one in 2022. Lots of Saigon, Kabul, Baghdad memes flying around out there.
I like that graphic, Will. That Saigon evacuation. If you haven't read about it, it's fucking insane, dude. The Vietnam evacuation in Saigon in '75, like insane. What happened? It's a fun story to dig into.
I would imagine it's bad where we left a lot of people that worked with us, just like we did in Afghanistan. Sounds like just like probably will happen in Iraq if this is like a negative to the U.S. thing. And over in Ukraine, the Ukrainians have started their counter-offensive in Kherson, which is, good news. They're trying to take parts of the country back from the Russians. And here's a video. I'll play for you, the Ukrainian guy speaking on low, but I'll give you the translation over top. It's allegedly from a captured Russian outpost in the Kherson area where Ukraine is starting to take stuff back over. Here it is. And so he says, this is what that wonderful monument when Russian army is running. And it's like he's filming all the shit they get. It becomes the main sponsor of the armed forces of Ukraine, leaving us with many interesting toys and showing like the big ass rounds that they recovered, all that shit. Wow. We will return this to their asses, which will catch them with their own bullets. We will catch them up with their own bullets in the butt. Damn them.
Damn them.
So that's what's happening in the Frog of War, fellas.
That sucks that it's been quite a long war over there going on.
Oh yeah, no, and it's I was reading that like that war is helping to destabilize and the bad economy everywhere is like helping to produce probably more wars. Like you see like the government overthrow in Sri Lanka. Now we got Iraq. Probably like
Everyone's
a ripe
got war fever. It's like baby fever.
Yeah, Frog of War season.
I mean, isn't it going to be like Russian troops are they don't. Then a lot of them don't want to fight. A lot of them are dying. So eventually, yeah, they can whoop Ukraine's ass where there's a high concentration, but they don't where they're occupying. Eventually, Ukraine is probably just gonna be able to take over every single one of these places.
Well, they're not allowed to go back home, Wes. Like they can't be like, hey, we're back in Russia because we don't want to fight anymore.
But I'm saying there's not enough of them to stay
to
in
hold
all
the
these,
country.
Yeah, to hold the country.
Well, Putin just committed like another 100,000, another 6 figures of troops.
Plus, he's got all of Belarus. He's got
true.
Putin's got an infinite supply of people he can just send in there to half-ass it.
Those Ukrainians have been like DMV
60?
raised. They're so tough. They're not giving up.
Yeah, it's a lot like the DMV. They say Ukraine.
It would suck if you were like big. If you like to take naps. It's hard to take naps when you're in like a 6-month-long war.
Cats are hating it.
Yeah. Usually nap these days.
Yeah, not as many wheat thins in Ukraine
like a real
as in the DMV.
Yeah, if you take a nap during a war, you look like such a dick.
Not as many fleece blankets and wheat thins and big screens. Okay, that would just because if you grew up in Northern Virginia, we chill hard. Okay, moving along.
We chop his nails until it's nap time.
Pass me those wheat thins.
The most white snack I could think of.
Give me my Snuggie.
I can't reach it from a blanket.
Okay, which takes us from the Frog of War to another old favorite segment on this show, the Soft Corner. Okay, and it's because NASA and most of their contractors, except for SpaceX, are in the Soft Corner for missing the Artemis moon mission launch on their crappy SLS rocket again.
This shit was supposed to happen a long time ago.
Oh, Mark, we'll get into it. You don't even know the half of how upsetting this is. So at this rate, Boeing, who is the leader of this gaggle of idiot contractors working for NASA on this SLS system, should just start calling themselves the Johnson & Johnson of the skies. Because after all the tragic failures and government bailouts and contracts that they've completely wasted with nothing to show for it over the decades, they've been propped up on our tax dollars like a literal communist company that we have no choice but to use because the government just keeps feeding them contracts that they cannot deliver on. But, I digress.
Plus the cancer, Will. Plus the cancer.
And plus they're acting like a couple of dicks.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. We're talking about them again today.
How great would it be if Johnson & Johnson's logo was 2 dicks wrapped around each other like snakes?
Yeah, or docking. Yeah.
Yeah.
if you could make them into J's, upside down J.
Yeah, wouldn't do as
upwards
well,
J and
but-
upside down
Can make
J.
a
Hell
dick
yeah.
of J.
Loop, yeah, hook the J's.
J and
Make
J.
a dick of J.
2 dicks.
Put some eyes on them.
And then B could just be 3 dicks, or like, yeah, the B could definitely be made out of dicks too for Boeing.
Can make anything.
Anyways.
You make dicks anything. You know?
You can.
We're talking about Boeing today.
I don't know about this logo, Dave.
Did you
It
try,
says it all.
try the dick font?
Yeah. Just dick
What's
it up.
that?
Give it a shot.
You'll see.
Give it a shot. We're dicks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they are, because we're talking about Boeing again today because they fucked up yet again. This time with their buddies Aerojet Rocketdyne, Northrop Grumman. You guys, I'm sure, have heard of them, a classic contractor, and others working with NASA who have missed the Space Launch System. That's the SLS. That's this thing. Rocket and Orion capsule launch again after more than 16 failed attempts to launch this fucking thing over 5 years of delays. It was originally supposed to
That's
launch
what I
in
thought.
2016, and they
I
still
remember
haven't fucking launched it.
Our first couple episodes, we were talking about this thing.
Yeah. No, and that was in the middle of all
Yeah.
their fuck ups. So
Yeah.
NASA says the guys, it was supposed to launch Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. But
I was up for it.
It didn't. Oh, a lot of people were, Pat. There was a lot of people on the launch pad, like watching it live. Didn't fucking go. So NASA says this. He says, there's a non-zero chance we'll have a launch on Friday now. Yeah, we really need time to look at all the information, all the data. So that's what he's saying. That's what Mike Seraphin, who's the Artemis mission manager for NASA. That's what he's saying after they got to the launch date. After 5 years of failures, 16 failed attempts, and they still need time to look at the data to see if they can go this Friday.
Who's still
Do you
showing up
guys-
to this thing being like, this time it's going to go?
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys know what the definition of a non-zero chance is? I just looked it up.
It's a 1% chance, right?
It means that something may happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
quite-
completely non-committal.
Non-zero is not a good. That's not good.
It's a
Mike,
glimmer of
like,
hope.
yeah, we all get it, Mike. Your dicks don't work over there at the SLS factory at NASA. $58 billion in taxpayer money later between the SLS project and Project Artemis budgets so far, and these morons still can't launch an unmanned rocket that's not even going to land on the moon for a moon-based building mission 5 years after it was supposed to start in 2016. They're 5 years late and they can't do shit. They've spent $50+ billion on this fucking thing. Everybody
And
tune
we're paying
in Friday,
Boeing,
though.
Everyone's getting paid. Like Boeing, Northrop.
Oh,
they're
they're
all
getting so
paid.
paid. Mark,
Yeah.
wait, it's only 50 billion so far, 50
Yeah.
billion and counting, my friend. Everybody tune in Friday, though, to see if they can do one fucking thing with our $50+ billion of tax money that they've flushed down the drain on this project so far over at NASA. For perspective on how expensive this is, NASA has spent about the cost of 6 James Webb telescopes on these budgets so far without a single thing to show for it. When they first proposed the budget for the original SLS project back in 2011, they said it would cost $10 billion total. A recent Inspector General report claimed it will end up costing NASA about $93 billion from 2012 to 2025, and we still don't even know if it'll ever fucking launch or make it to the moon at all.
Let me fuck you up real quick. Had they taken this money and gave it to the American people, they could have taken out over 10% of the U.S. credit card debt.
This is the most
bad.
government waste I've ever seen.
That's the
Meanwhile,
total.
Yeah.
Pat, it's disgusting. Meanwhile, the SpaceX Starship, which is the SLS's prime competitor, has already won the NASA contract for Artemis 3
Thank God.
and may beat Boeing and Grumman and SLS into space with a crewed mission outright after starting
Thank
5
God.
years after.
It's time to cut Boeing out. You know, like
No,
Oh,
Mark,
those guys have
it's
been making
not.
so much cash forever, dude.
The federal government will always pay Boeing and all of
No,
these
no.
contractors just to prop up the industry, and that's what they're doing. Literally, they're spending all $93 billion of tax money just to prop up these people that can't make a fucking working product.
You know what, Will? I got an idea. And especially if you're from the Northern Virginia area of the DMV, you'll understand this. Your fucking piece of shit friend that started making 6 figures plus out of college while working for Northrop Grumman or Boeing as a contractor,
Lockheed.
take it out on those motherfuckers because they've been stealing from us, okay?
No, the
They've been-
government, Pat. The government. The dumbass is in charge of distributing the money. No, it's
But
the
make your
government.
neighbor feel it too.
The elected officials, the bureaucracy. Those people are fucking morons for letting this slide. 93 million out of our pockets into this. Not billion. Sorry, it's way
Billion.
bigger. Times that by whatever, 1,000. Right. So now NASA and the American taxpayers, the cost for a Starship ride. You guys want to hear that? What we've spent 90. We're gonna spend 93 billion. We're gonna spend 93 billion on this Northrop Grumman Boeing piece of shit.
Can you
It's
tell me
never
what a
gonna
Starship
fly.
ride is? Is like 2 hours in space.
Do you want to know what NASA is going to pay SpaceX for a Starship ride to land on the moon?
Oh,
They won the contract for Artemis
for the
3.
purpose of what? Just to like.
Do they for a
'cause
ride?
I thought a
what is
Starship ride was like fun. Was that like that's tourism or what's
on
No,
the
it's
SpaceX
a-
Starship? How much are
they're
they going to charge?
contracting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
they're
how
gonna
much are
ride
they
up.
charge
Okay.
NASA for one ride up to the moon?
$5 billion.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5.
2.9 billion, and NASA only tossed 300 million into the development of that ship, as opposed to the estimated 93 billion they're going to spend on the SLS. But again,
SpaceX
tune in
is kicking
Friday.
their asses, yeah.
Right. Tune in Friday again, though, to see if they can finally get it up over at NASA.
Well,
But
Remember
hey,
when
look at these
Bezos-
rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Remember
Well,
when
no,
Bezos-
Wes, the telescopes seem like they're going to spend 10 James Webbs on this thing.
the
That'll never
telescopes
fly.
are a deal now.
Yeah, they're looking real good now.
How many
It's
webs?
unbelievable.
Release some images quick.
It's like 8 webs. But remember when Bezos was like Blue, whatever the fuck his planet,
Origin.
Blue Planet or whatever his company
Blue
is.
Origin, yeah.
Yeah,
Blue
Blue
Origin.
Origin. He was like bidding against SpaceX and people to be in.
He's got the new
internet.
International Space Station, U.S. version.
He
won
came
that.
in like 3 times higher than SpaceX, and he's like, "Oh, we can cut it down a little bit because they're all
They still got him the space
all
station.
these
though.
companies, Boeing and Blue
Yeah.
Origin, they're like inflating their budgets by like 500%. They don't need all this money. Well, maybe they do because they can't fucking make the product on time. But yeah.
Well, they could
Well,
get
I mean,
together and
93
just fuck
billion
everyone.
versus 3 billion
Yeah.
total that you're going to pay SpaceX. 93 versus 3 for
Yeah.
the same thing. And SpaceX did all the
I'm
development
going
on
3.
their own, paid for it, right? But then again, everybody, tune in, on Friday to see if the nerds over at NASA can get it up finally. Let's take it to VP Kamala Harris for her thoughts on the Artemis project delay when she was asked about the delay on Monday.
It's gonna be
afternoon.
positive.
She's like, a
I'm
rocket
so
goes in
proud
space. Space
what
is
is
above.
happening in terms of our space program and the leadership that the United States is providing to the world. The Artemis program is the beginning of the next era of what we have a history and a tradition of doing, of providing vision and inspiring innovation in a way that is going to benefit all mankind and womankind.
Oh, man.
What the fuck
Incredible.
is she talking about?
I feel like they put her on
Incredible
the spot
stuff.
there. Hey, talk about this
Incredible
thing you
stuff.
don't know about, apparently.
Yeah. The Artemis.
Incredible stuff
Shit.
from the Veep there.
Yes, the Artemis. Yes, it's going to be great.
It's one
What does she
giant
do?
leap.
Lots of science involved there.
She makes misquotes, Wes.
Well.
And that brings us to
The cream of the crop!
which, thank you to Vice President Kamala Harris for taking us to the cream of the crop today, which is Biden time, another classic segment here on Hard Factor. This is the Aussie Gaffe Roundup version. I had no idea that Australians were so dialed in on Biden's gaffes.
Australia hates Biden.
U.S.
Oh, they
President Biden.
Love
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had no idea. So when YouTube recommended that I watch the latest Biden bloopers that the Aussies were laughing at on their network news channels, I was like, well, I got to bring that over to Hard Factor for a little Biden time where we, regardless of party or political leaning or our personal fears maybe of looming financial peril for the country, or anything like that, we can just put that all aside, come together for a couple minutes and all laugh at President Biden for just not making any sense at all, like he likes to do, right? I mean, there are times when
Lay it on us, Jack.
this man hits us with some gold. And
I don't know if he
did.
likes to do it. Like a heroin junkie at some point doesn't like doing heroin anymore. They just have to do it.
It's just in their nature, right?
Yeah.
Just like old
I wish
Joey
I
B.
could quit you, gas.
Did I gaff again?
He did. And the two clips today are from a White House event last Friday discussing women's equity, good issue. And as always, President Biden's spirit was all there, 100%. But some of the words didn't quite make it with him there that day. Let's take a look. First up, you guys just let me know if you can figure out what this is about.
Tell me how you do that. Now, I understand it. It's clear in its face. You're accurate. But how and making the case of the freedom men have, what do you do to other than to sort of embarrass men into getting into the argument and voting the right way on this issue?
Oh man, his brain's giving him half sentences at this
I
point.
kind of
Profound,
understood what he was saying, but
Did
I
you?
mean, well, he's talking about like getting men to
questioning
vote,
something.
I guess, and like
Yeah, he wants people to vote for him and his party. I got that
Yeah.
part of it, but
Well,
what
I
was
think
everything
he's saying
before
half
that?
thoughts. A
What
lot of
was
half
that?
thoughts.
The rights
You got to
of
play
men.
that. You got to play that back, Will.
Yeah, play it again.
Okay, all right. I'd already taken him off.
Everyone listen
Here we go.
real closely here, because
Yeah,
he's saying,
that's what I'm saying.
something. He's saying something.
He is. It makes sense to him. So
It's
see if
words.
yeah, it makes sense.
Tell me how you do that. I understand it. I mean, it's clear in its face. You're accurate. But how, in making the case of the freedom men have, what do you do to other than to
This is where he's lost.
sort of embarrass men into getting into the argument and voting the right way
Okay.
on this issue?
Yeah.
So he was like stalling for a very long time there.
Hey, Mark,
It's about abortion.
Was he? Well, yeah, it was a women's equity
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But was he Biden time? Do you
He was
think?
Biden time, Will.
Yeah,
It sounds like
He was
Biden.
Biden.
On this issue, the curtail is classic, because you want to have a wrap-up phrase that lets them know that you made a point. They might not have gotten it
He knew
because
where he
it might
wanted
be
to
over their head.
get. He was here and he wanted to get here, and it was the in between that was like
Yeah.
just absolutely
Jet lag.
Yeah.
And that was President
He's
Biden.
like, "Am I here
time
yet?" No. Okay.
At his most Biden time. And here we go to the one that got really everybody talking, especially the Aussies. The end of it.
Everybody thought anything would go.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took control. I shouldn't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Go ahead. You
I
tell
think we're
me.
going to go ahead and have the rest of the conversation close press. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Compromise Mar-a-Lago.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't get that.
He
I
looks
don't-
Overwhelmed.
People are saying like they think he actually doesn't have control, so he's saying
He
the words
called.
he's not
So
supposed to say.
I'll play it again. That one again.
I don't think it's. I think this is.
He
More of
calls on a
nothing
reporter,
Yeah.
and then his handler
I think
comes
he's
in and goes, "We're
joking.
taking the rest closed press."
Right.
Everybody thought anything would go.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took control. I shouldn't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Go ahead. You
I
tell
think
me.
we're going to
His
go ahead and
staff.
have the rest of the conversation close press. Thank you all so much. Compromise Mar-a-Lago.
Are you sure?
His face is priceless.
That was clear. He was making a shot at his staff, who's like they're like Nazis, where he's not allowed to call on people, and then he proved them right when he just stared off into space for 12
Yeah.
seconds.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They're right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, that does sound like what hell sounds like, the cacophony of reporter noise right after that, with like a Mar-a-Lago in there.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
A
not.
press room is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, the president is a hard job,
especially on mushrooms.
if you're that old and look that confused.
All
we're
their
gonna take
questions
the
are like, are you losing your mind, sir?
What? We're going to take the rest of this one closed press. And that's the cup of coffee and the big time today. Brought to you by predictit.org/promo/hard factor 60. Go to that specific URL and get your first $60 matched in the stock market of politics. That's $120 to play with this midterm season. And you could also bet on if Biden will resign. As the gaffes heat up, so does that market, with people speculating that he will resign before the end of his first term. Right now, it's about 26% likely. I got in on that market real early, like doubled up and got out, but it's still rising. So if you want to bet on him resigning or not resigning, you know,
That's
you can-
high.
you can
26
make
is
something
high
move.
for predicted. I would
Always
say,
check
for
the
that
rules,
type of thing.
like because
Could be a good market.
make sure it says like if it's resign or if he's removed from office for like the 25th whatever amendment or whatever because he's like incapable, or if
attack.
he dies, like make sure you read the rules. You might like every
Yeah.
time you enter a market, read the rules to see what you're playing.
Definitely check the rules. It's a market that I got in on early on the yes side and made money on. So I know that it is a market you can make money on. Also, looking at my dashboard of bets right now, Republican Carrie Lake to win governor of Arizona is looking real good. I mean,
Like a drink of water.
real good for Carrie Lake. It's just one of those things that people
She's up against crazy white lady.
Yeah, this is her opponent, and then this is her, and then one of the things that people aren't accounting for yet, as far as I can tell,
Cat lady.
yes, yeah,
She's running away with it, huh?
there. Yeah,
She's
and
a
then
phony
she's going
Christian.
against Carrie. Yeah,
This one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, Carrie Lake is.
Carrie Lake. Yeah, she's looking real good, and so
Most
is
of
her
them.
predicted odds.
Yeah.
One thing that is people are not accounting for, as far as I can tell yet, in this year's election, is that inflation has hit way harder the farther west you are. So obviously the far west coast is all blue, but the rest of the west leading up to that, where not all rich people live, may be a little bit more red than years past. And that's an opportunity to make some cash with me if you think that beautiful Carrie Lake is going to pull it out, or if you want to fade me and prove me wrong. Either way, get in there. Predictit.org/promo/hardfactor60 for your first $60 matched on us.
Dip your toes in the lake.
Okay, guys, come with me to the nation's capital, the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Why do they call it the DMV? Well, really, if you're in any of those three states, well, I guess technically DC's not, but those areas right outside of DC in the orbit, it's pretty much one big ass area, right? It's just the deal. If we meet someone who grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland, that's the same thing as growing up in Fairfax County, except it's like all resting over
Well,
there.
except for it's the same for everybody in the DMV, but not people in DC proper.
That's true.
They consider themselves not part of the DMV.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
And not Southern Virginia.
It's also
That's true.
like
No, they're
sporting-
very elitist.
a lot
in-
of
in
like
DC.
sporting travel
Inside the-
sporting
inside
events.
the-
You play against those same DMV teams.
Right.
They have like a lot
It's
of
the
like
Beltway.
things. Yeah, exactly.
It's Beltway. There you go. Beltway.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let's start in D.C. The Washington Commanders, third round pick out of Alabama, Brian Robinson. He got the old Washington, D.C. welcome on Sunday when he was shot twice in the lower body.
Oh, he got the Sean Taylor.
You got
Yeah.
the 80s DC
Well,
welcome.
except in DC.
Some are calling it hazing.
That was in
Some are
Miami
calling it
for-
DC
for
hazing.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, at his home in Miami. Some are also saying it's an attempted robbery. I don't know. I think it's hazing. But Robinson was shot.
That's just
in
how they
his-
welcome you to the neighborhood in DC.
You
Exactly.
got those fast legs, Brian. Can they outrun a bullet?
Yeah, he was shot in the running back extremities,
No.
his
Yeah.
legs. Not good. He underwent surgery on Monday, which according to his Instagram went well.
he's
So he's
gonna
going to
be
be fine. He's going to be fine, thank God. Robinson's first mistake was entering the District of Columbia on Sunday to get something to eat. I guess that was really his only mistake. According to reports, two teenage males rolled up on Robinson shortly before 6 p.m. Eastern in the 1000 block of H Street Northeast, which means he was 100% at iconic DC eatery Ben's Chili Bowl.
Too close to Anacostia up there.
Mm-hmm. Now, guys,
Yeah, that's a rough neighborhood, Ben's Chili.
It is.
Well,
I used to live
okay,
up there.
so you are correct, Will, and you were correct in two cases, but the rougher of the two is the OG location on U Street. This is the H Street
Oh,
location.
that's the one I was familiar with. It was,
And this may have been retaliation for Robinson not having his first Ben's Chili Bowl experience at the OG U Street location, which is technically a more dangerous location instead of opting for the less historic H Street
I mean,
location.
is there any non-dangerous locations inside the District of Columbia?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
besides like Capitol Hill.
Northwest DC is nice, that 3 or 4 block area. Yeah,
It's like
nice.
Georgetown and Capitol Hill where they have private police. But other than that,
Other than that, you're fucked.
yeah.
One bullet hit his glute, the other struck him in the lower leg. According to a report, this is actually pretty badass. Robinson wrestled away a handgun from one of the teens.
Jeez, thank God.
But he was shot by the other, who also had a handgun. These kids had 2 handguns. So, like, why are they robbing, really? Sounds like they're doing
Damn.
pretty good. 2
pretty
handguns
awesome by
amongst 2
Robinson.
teens. It is pretty awesome.
That's awesome. I'm glad I drafted him in fantasy. Now I'm definitely not dropping him.
You should also change his last name because it encourages it. You know, the
Robinson. Son. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have a nice car if your last name's Robinson, that's for sure. Not in D.C. They recovered one of the firearms. That's pretty cool. In a press conference on Monday, cancer survivor Ron Rivera and head coach of the Commanders said that Robinson may be able to play this year, which is pretty cool.
What? That'd be awesome.
Yep. They're going to make a
He's gonna shoot
decision.
his gunshot. That's amazing. What's
What a
cool
beast.
too is Americans are getting so fed up with shootings that they're just
Not
beating up
dying.
the shooters. Like Robinson took it on himself.
This
beat
kid's
these
out of
guys.
Alabama. I don't know where he's from, but he's grabbing one of the fucking guns from the kid. Like,
Yeah.
geez, that's
a
some like
great
DC.
move. That's
That's
a
some
great
DC
move.
vet stuff.
Also, some of the guys in Bend, Oregon, they were two elderly men, but they fought with the shooter there, and they fought with them. So people are just sick of these fucking incel shooters. They're
This
just
guy's last name is Rob Me Son. Rob Me Son.
unbelievable.
Taunting us.
Guys, expect an announcement today on whether or not they're going to put Robinson on the non-football injury list, which
should, the
would
pup
mean
list,
a 4 games out. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that.
Where did they hit him that he's like going to be?
So
fine
one
in
in his
a couple months?
ass,
Okay.
Nice.
and then one in his
$1
lower
million
legs,
injury.
maybe his calf.
He's got
Oh,
a
his
thick
calf's
ass.
so strong. Yeah.
Yeah, thick ass,
I don't
strong
know.
legs.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's a running back's
Ben's
motto.
Chili Bowl.
Well, plus,
Chili
like once
Bowl-
he gets back, he's gonna have lead in his legs. It's gonna make him
100%.
faster.
Which is going
Try
be
to-
Nick
try
Chubb,
to
knock
too.
him down.
Lead legs.
Lead legs.
He might be a fullback
But-
after that. Who knows?
Well, no. That's bad. But what if he's still fast?
Ooh.
They're made of lead.
What
so
if they
he
call him bullet
retains his
legs?
speed.
there you go.
Bullet ass.
And that, guys, is why the Washington Wizards are not called the Washington Bullets anymore. If you
That
were
is
wondering,
why.
pretty much. Guys, Ben's Chili Bowl, which, by the way, if you haven't been, you got to go. In terms of iconic DC spots, eateries, it's the numero uno by far. And they're not just standing idly by. Ben's is the site of multiple shootings a year of their staff and their customers. And they are, I guess in order to fight back, they're going to be selling these shirts. I got shot at Ben's Chili Bowl to raise money for private security.
It's a cool shirt.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
for
awesome
private
shirt.
security, which you need in Washington D.C. if you don't want to have shootings at your place all the time.
Yeah, Wes, if you want to put that up in the store, I designed it. So, okay, another
Cities
DMV.
run real well.
I would love to.
Another
over there, Washington D.C.
DMV news, guys. A limited series, a television series that's going to be on Apple Plus, I believe, starring Natalie Portman, which is adapted from a book by the same name, Lady in the Lake. It, by the way, chronicles a housewife turned journalist who's investigating a murder, and then it also stars Emmy nominee Moses Ingram as an activist fighting for social justice, and this is all set in 1960s Baltimore, Lady of the Lake. The production, they made the mistake of choosing Baltimore as a shooting location, as they were forced to shut down on Friday after Baltimore drug dealers felt the shoot was encroaching on their territory. You've seen The Wire. According to a statement from the Baltimore Police Department that has since been disputed, but the quote, locals warned producers that they would come back later in the evening and shoot someone if they didn't stop filming in the 200 block of Park Avenue, which is right down from Lexington Market.
That's a wrap for the day.
Yep. The Baltimore residents then told the producers that they would allow the production to continue if they paid them $50,000.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And a couple of my boys want to roll.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's people. The Wire was casting people out of the street like
Yes,
this.
they were.
Yeah.
Guys, a Baltimore
Going back
banner.
to the 90s. Going back
It's
to the
a
90s
old school.
crime rates.
This whole Iraq's acting up. People are getting shot. Washington Commanders football players are getting shot in the lower extremities.
I'm looking at the crime rate. It
Baltimore
has
thing.
spiked nationally over the last 2 years, like incredibly. We're like all the way back at 1990.
Time is a
crime
circle.
rates.
It's
Defund
like,
Dude,
the
Baltimore is
Game
a
of Thrones
rough
is back. Lord of the Rings
ass
is back.
fucking city. It's one of the roughest. A Saturday report, guys, from the Baltimore Banner referred to the threat makers as drug dealers and noted that the producers declined to pay the $50,000. Whoops. So that's probably why they rolled up and did what the Hollywood Reporter reported, which is apparently Friday
Yeah,
afternoon.
wait. So the drug dealers were like, if you don't pay us $50,000, we're gonna
We'll kill you.
fucking shoot you.
Yeah.
And then they
Yes.
were like, oh, we're not gonna listen to that. They're
We'll
clearly
call-
not from Baltimore,
Yeah, we're gonna call their bluff.
right?
Yes. So Endeavor Content,
Okay.
William Morris Endeavor, out there in LA, who's the studio who's producing this show, believe it or not, said, oh, they'll be fine. This was their statement to the Hollywood Reporter Friday afternoon on the Baltimore set of our production, Lady in the Lake, prior to the arrival of the cast and crew. So essentially what happens on a movie set is the cast comes last. Who's there first? Production assistants. Production assistants are the first in, first out, and they don't get paid overtime. So like every other crew job, you get paid OT, but PAs, it's just the deal. It's your first job in the biz. You get fucked, and you have to be there first. So a driver from the production crew, which means a 21-year-old PA probably, was rolled up on by one of the drug dealers, and they pointed a gun at this kid.
Yep.
And said something like, "Do you have our $50,000?" To which the production
I have
assistant
coffee.
probably said, I'm in the locations department. I'm not the right guy to ask, sir. Thank God they didn't kill this guy.
You want a donut? Coffee?
I
Yeah.
mean, unless
That is
unless
lucky
this
for the
show had
production company.
cast Alec Baldwin, they were in trouble. They're outgunned.
Right. Let's take it to the internet real quick, guys. Amelie W. She wrote on TripAdvisor the title of the review, and this is of Lexington Market, which is where this happened. Not safe. Dear travelers, I'm going to be honest. This area scared the bejesus out of me. I'm an experienced traveler, but I did not feel safe at all. People were doing heroin in the parking lot. We were offered drugs, told we'd get robbed, and a car full of people stopped us to tell us to get inside because it wasn't safe. Everyone in the back seat still had needles in their arms. The market was dirty, run down, and men kept coming up to us and asking if we wanted to come with them.
Yeah, you know.
First time to Baltimore, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And then we have a review from Charles H.
Great planner she is.
Visited last Saturday.
Google Baltimore.
Experienced traveler, my ass.
Yeah. Charles H. says, visited last Saturday for one of Baltimore's signature events, the marathon. Large cup of full urine sitting at the curb at the entrance. Inside were people smoking crack, accosted twice to buy drugs. Complete disgrace and embarrassment for Baltimore.
Yeah, that's Baltimore for you.
Right. These people have just obviously never been or heard of anything about
changed
Baltimore.
much.
Cup of urine. That's Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
All right.
Unsafe feeling. Spidey senses tingling. Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of Baltimore and go far, far away.
It's time for the TikTok International Moment.
And let's go to one of our favorite stops in the TikTok International Moment, the UK. All right. Recently, we discussed on the show the crushing blow of turning an age where you realize makes it essentially impossible for you to play professional sports again, right?
Sad.
One day it's just gone. You look down, you're 37, you're a little bit out of shape, and you're like, I probably can't play professional sports anymore.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, I was going to start training and walk onto a program. Along that same line of thinking is like, what about the big game back in the day that could have gone different if you or your teammates did just like one thing different? A great man,
cycle.
Yeah, like a great man once said, if coach would have put me in the fourth quarter, we would have been state champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Uncle Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Napoleon.
Yeah,
Put it on coach.
That's right. That's a common thought, right? The what if we won the big game and you're regretting about it. But what about the flip side of that coin? What about you did win the big game or in this case tied it, but you regret how you won the game because it wasn't exactly fair? That's less common,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Like when Lance Armstrong was like, oh, did steroids.
If he regretted one of his 7 Tour de France victories
Right.
for cheating. Yeah.
It's like you could have kept your mouth shut, Lance. But yeah,
It's
no, we
less
saw
common.
that on the Oprah interview.
I guess. When people get away with things, they usually aren't too regretful, unless maybe like they had to literally kill somebody or something.
You think Maradona was blowing lines because he felt bad about the hand of God goal in the World Cup? I don't think so. It's less common, you have to assume, but that's the story 60-year-old Graham Jones gave as the reason that he organized a rematch of a 1972 football, as they call it, or soccer match between 2 grade schools that ended in controversy. The controversy was that Graham admitted to pushing the opposing team's goalie when he was a fat 10-year-old into the goal while the goalie held on to the ball, which the refs did not see, causing the goalie to fall into the net with the ball and a goal to be awarded. The game ended in a tie, 1-1, and Graham says he regretted it ever since and probably got shit at the pub across
Think
town
about
if
it
he
for
ever dared show his face.
50 years later?
50 years ago. Hey, you pushed him in the bloody goal, you cunt. Should have been 1-0, you fat fuck. They kept getting that.
Grudge masters over there, huh?
Of all the shit that happens in soccer, that's nothing.
I know. So Graham decided 50 years later to organize a rematch. And
No, Graham didn't decide it. Graham never stopped hearing about it in this town.
I think he was hearing about it in his well, actually, you'll see. Yes, he did hear about it a lot. So here's them 50 years ago, and then Graham spent 18 months organizing, and 50 years later, the lads are back. By the way, look at the mongoloid goalie. How did they even get scored on with that kid? Look at the size of the goalie in the top left. He looks like a young Andrew Reed at a punt, pass, and kick contest.
He's still tall. Look at him.
Yeah. He's a
Well,
freak.
they're all the same exact proportion. Wait, put that back up. That's crazy.
Yeah, here they are.
They're all the same exact proportion.
Yeah, they're all still in town, luckily, 50 years later.
How is one of them
yeah.
not dead?
Yeah, I don't know.
That goalie definitely was the fucker who had pubes way too early in the locker room. Was
sixth
embarrassing
grade, yeah.
everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
God was huge. He
All
was
the other
open-
little dick motherfuckers are looking at his
goalie.
pubes. Yeah. God damn.
Kick your
Embarrassing.
ass.
Yeah, so I mean, this had nothing to do with these guys wanting to get out of the house and away from their wives. They all really wanted to settle the score. This is like the plot to Adam Sandler's Grown Ups, but even more depressing a few decades later. So yeah, here's Graham, by the way, taking a hard fall, it looks like, and no one's around him. So I guess he got tripped up by Father Time here.
Did the other team show?
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's the other team. Graham's number 6. Here's Graham heading the ball, or attempting to head the ball.
Why are all the photographs of Graham?
Because Graham organized the event.
Because he hired the photographer.
Yeah,
he definitely did.
And these were the action shots they got for Graham.
He needs the vindication.
Here's Graham tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they win or lose, Graham?
Okay,
I mean,
well, good question.
he better have won with all this.
Yeah, so that was, by the way, Graham played for the Gayton Primary School in 1972. That was the picture I showed you. And then in 2022, they rematched against St. Peter's C of E School. And St. Peter's C of E extracted some revenge, winning 6-2. So Graham's team got smoked 6-2, but his conscience is now clean, he said, which is good, because apparently when he got the idea that took 18 months to organize, he asked everyone like on both teams if they wanted to participate. And his next door neighbor, Craig, who was on St. Peter's C of E back then, says not only does he remember the goal, but he's never forgiven Graham. So hopefully now he has 50 years later after his team won 6-2. Yeah.
Okay.
Fun fact also, they got the 80-year-old soccer, he was the PE teacher because they were 10-year-olds. He's now 80. They got the old PE coach that blew the call in 1972 to do the coin flip and ref for the first 5 minutes of the game before he tired out. And had to leave.
Yeah, before he died.
So Graham is a genius businessman. This other team that had never forgiven him was somehow fucking him in his personal life or professional life somehow.
He wasn't allowed business or social.
Yeah, he spent so much money on this thing to just apologize and get his ass kicked 6-2 or
6-2. I think he threw it. I think this was
that's
Graham
what it is.
throwing the match here.
That's definitely what it is.
So you're right, Will, because Graham and the lads said they would not be attempting another match in the future, but that they would continue to meet up and renew their bonds, probably over dozens of pints of beer, which I think was Graham's entire point of this. Yeah.
I think you're onto something with the honey. We have to do it. We have to make things right.
Yeah, Graham's either sick of his wife or she's dead or something.
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
He wants to go to the bar,
or he wishes she was dead or something.
Yeah.
Graham's got to hang out with honey. They've been mad at me for 50 years. I got to go hang out with
I've got to buy the uniforms. I've got to train with the lads. I've got to buy the photographer. I've got to reserve the pitch.
20 grand.
We've got to watch every soccer match this year. EPL. We all have the same team now. We got to go watch the match. Anyways, okay. From one very unimpressive 60-year-old man, Graham Jones, to one guy who never hung up the boots to begin with. The Brazilian legend known as the Man in the Hole has passed away in his home, the rainforest. Yes.
Whoa.
I'm just going to throw up some footage. Yeah, I'm going to throw up some footage of this guy with no audio that we can talk over. Someone shot him guerrilla style here, chopping the shit out of some wood to build a house or a boat or clothing or something. And they made sure not to get caught because he would have definitely ran over to them, killed them, and then fucked their skull he cut off of their bodies with the same thing he's using to cut their trees.
Put on a stake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Does he have the darts, the poison darts? Too?
Oh, he's got it all, Will. He wouldn't even hesitate. You'd have his dick in your skull so fast you'd still recognize what was going on, since instead you're still conscious. Yeah, you're still conscious for a few seconds after you get decapitated. So you'd just be seeing him fucking your skull. It's true. You'd be like, oh yeah, he's definitely skull fucking me. I shouldn't have gotten close to him. And don't. By the way, don't give me the Mark, not all indigenous Amazon tribesmen are savages bullshit. I'm saying he'd do that because his entire tribe, besides him, were gunned down and killed by mercenaries hired by cattle ranchers to clear out the tribe back in the 1970s, so that they could start profiting. So they genocided his people. Okay, it was terrible. So yeah, he's a little bit hesitant, rightfully so, around outsiders. Plus, yeah, he is a fucking savage. Look at this guy hiding in the bushes. He's a savage.
Yeah,
damn, bro.
Yeah. The man in the hole.
Straight savage.
Yeah,
poor guy.
They call him the man in the hole because he digs giant holes and he uses them to catch prey. So he just sets up like traps, and it's like if Predator wasn't a fictional movie, this is the guy he would go to first. Like Predator would come.
He
find
should have
the man in
trained
the hole.
Arnold. I wonder if they reached out to him.
They said he lived by himself for several decades. Like he survived the machine gunning, and then he lived by himself for 35 years. And whenever anyone got near him, like agents from the National Indigenous Agency of Brazil called FUNAI, FUNAI, when they showed up to like check on him and see if he was doing okay, he'd just throw arrows at them. He nicked one guy once. He didn't even shoot arrows. He just like threw spear arrows.
Warning
at
shot.
him. Yeah, and then the one guy was like,
That's a
"Ow!
warning
He
shot.
threw a fucking arrow at me, a piece of shit. Let's get out of here." He
Every
like, cut
day was
one guy.
preparing for them to come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
every
I'll use the
day.
bow next time. Yeah.
His run came to an end, though. The last of his tribe, the man in the hole, was found dead on Tuesday, lying in one of his several handmade hammocks. It was said to look like a natural death, no violence or anything. What a way to go, laying in a hammock you built with your hands after you probably ate a snake and had hallucinogenic plants, the likes of which we'll never know, only dream of.
That's true. Probably had some sweet drugs out there in the holes.
Oh, he knows things that we'll never know on the Amazon rainforest.
Had himself a sweat lodge. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rest in peace to the man in the hole. It's too bad he didn't have a partner those last 35 years, so he could have been a double meaning for man in the hole, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
What if women started to emerge out of the holes now, though? Because
He had the women there.
yeah.
That's not good. Problematic.
It's okay though, because he probably fucked a bunch of animals, right?
Like
Why-
Craster's keep.
Oh yeah.
Why not if you're him? I mean,
Every
I'm
lizard
just-
in that forest has been.
He
fucked
fucked
by
everything
That guy. Yeah.
that crawled. Yeah.
Play dead.
Those
He's
guys
coming.
in India would be so
Yeah.
jealous.
Exactly.
The guys that triple teamed the lizard.
Well, that's
the monitor
child's
lizard.
play.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of animals scared of that guy. A lot of animals breathing a sigh of relief today.
Yeah.
The Amazon
They're seeing
rainforest.
sunlight for the first time in years.
This animal's down there.
Is he
Like,
gone?
they learn how to use a computer and try to lure human women to the rainforest.
Yeah, they set up.
It's the only way to make him
Set
stop.
up a profile for him.
We got to get him a mate.
R.I.P. Man in the hole.
Amazing. All right. Thank you, Mark. So, guys, we got to talk about it. Disclaimer right up front. We, before we get into the story, mass shootings aren't funny. Not one bit.
No.
We're very against mass shootings and the death and trauma they cause for everyone they touch. But for this story, we're going to laugh. Not at mass shootings or death or at people's fear, but at the sheer insanity of a few people who thought they had concocted a plan to make their employees and workspace safer by hiring a complete idiot to stage a mock mass shooting. So not a real mass shooting. We're not talking about real mass shooting.
So
We're talking about a
people
mock
showed up to a
mass
horror
shooting.
scene.
Yeah, and telling nobody the drill was about to happen. Okay, so this debacle.
It's the only way to feel real.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
How
this
many
is
heart
insane.
attacks were there?
Oh, dude, people were jumping out windows.
God.
This debacle
True
happened.
colors were shown. Yeah.
Yeah, back on May 19th in Omaha, Nebraska, when a man named John Channels, seen here, he was hired
Look
by
at that guy's face. Hold on, Wes.
Look
before
how
you
small
go
his
on.
mouth is. His lips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
dude, he's-
lips, eyes, and nose are tiny, and then the
His
rest of
nose
his face is
wider than
enormous.
his lips.
looks like a Snapchat filter.
Jesus Christ.
It does. His mouth is so tiny. It looks
Just
like
pinching him.
What the fuck?
It looks like the meme we made of Charlie Kirk where we shrunk his
Yeah,
features.
he looks like a fat Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So this piece of shit was hired by a couple higher-ups, morons, at the Catholic Charities in Omaha, Nebraska, to make their office fully prepared for a mass shooting incident, but instead set off a panic and gave people trauma that they will never forget. Catholic Charities, by the way, from their website says, quote, "We founded over a century ago by men and women who believed in the collective efforts of the church to faithfully serve people in need that could change the course of poverty in our nation." So, a good organization, but they made a mistake. So again, May 19th, John Channels is paid $2,500 to stage this mass shooting drill at the new offices of Catholic Charities.
Not enough money.
Not enough money in Omaha.
I can buy a lot of blanks with that.
Yeah.
How
And
much?
John, yeah.
I mean,
John-
how much do you need for it to stage a mass shooting?
Oh, you want that's a situation where you want to pay more. You want to pay $10K for a professional to come in,
Yeah.
nail
I
this
thought
thing.
you
You
wanted
want him to
me
have a team.
spend the entire budget on blanks. That's
What
what,
do
I
you-
thought.
Yeah, what do you need, Pat? You just need one guy that's like fake firing at people.
I know what you need, Mark. Experience and tact,
okay.
and and that costs.
and brains. So what he did is he also hired a bunch of actors and doused them in blood to pretend like they were victims. So on the day of the shooting,
I haven't seen a lot of these people at church. These are
Yeah.
a lot of new people here today.
yeah, on the day of the shooting, This guy showed up at the offices. This is from the Daily Beast
offices.
article written by Josh Fialo.
Yeah, he's doing like he's doing like a mass shooter preparatory thing. Like it's a
I thought it was
drill
at a
for
church. Where is
employees.
No, this is at their organization's offices. It's called the Catholic Charities. It's an organization that helps support people. So
It's a
quote-
nonprofit. Yeah,
Yeah,
nonprofit.
From Josh Fialo, who wrote this Daily
So it's
Beast
a bunch
article,
of
which is
people
great.
that just showed up to an office that don't belong there. The actors.
No, well, yeah, well, no. So here's what happened. The drill
They
began.
they killed.
All the new hires.
They're probably outside.
What's your
Probably
name?
Outside. He's probably gonna
It's
do
his
these
first
right out
day.
front. And then run
And
in.
you know who else got shot is
He was a good guy.
Lori.
Do you think
Yeah,
there
I'm-
was people pretending to know the people
Yeah,
who
oh,
were
yeah.
shot?
No,
Having fake interviews.
I'm gonna play the news clip for you guys. Here you go. Hang on.
Oh, I know that.
Documents say Catholic Charities hired and paid John Channels $2,500 to conduct an active threat response training exercise at 3 Catholic Charities locations, giving him $1,000 up front.
Not even
Police say
half up front.
employees fled for their lives. The criminal complaint says a woman crossed grass on top of a retaining wall in order to hide in a dumpster,
Oh my God.
but she missed, then curled into a ball. 9 Omaha Fire Department personnel, 6 Omaha police officers, and 2 Douglas County deputies rushed to Catholic Charities.
Fuck.
At least one employee who experienced what happened here tells me they left Catholic Charities for a new job. In a written statement, the nonprofit says the health and safety of our staff mentally, physically, and spiritually is our foremost concern. We have continued to offer care and mental health support for anyone still affected by the drill.
Channels is also charged in a separate case. Prosecutors think he sexually assaulted a child. The alleged victim was between 12 and 13 years old.
Twist.
A criminal affidavit says that Channels was her Taekwondo instructor. Investigators say
Sounds
that
about
he
right.
forced the child to perform sex acts. An affidavit claims investigators found provocative pictures of the child on Channels' iPad.
Okay, so that's what you know about Channels.
What a
He
piece
was a
of
former,
shit.
he's a
Hired a pedophile Taekwondo instructor to run a
former
fake
Air
mass
Force
shooting.
Base cop who thinks he's like this expert, like security guard. So from the article, the drill began with Channels arriving outside the building in a dark hoodie and dark mask near a window where a meeting was taking place. Then he got the group's attention by firing into the air and banging on the windows. He was firing blanks. Then pointed the gun in at the window. He fired blank cartridges that created the same, muzzle and
That's
whatever
awful.
sound. And then when the people ran out of the building, they were met with these fake actors that were covered in blood and like dead on the ground. So they thought that this was just fucking completely real. And were just traumatized for forever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. One woman said that she like you said, jumped in the dumpster. One woman said that she was certain that she was going to die, saying, quote, "This is it. I'm done."
The dumpster woman's the one that quit, right?
Probably, yeah. I would say.
Can't come back from that.
She's
I'm
tough.
pretty sure-
I don't know.
I'm pretty
She's
sure
tough.
that's the one that quit.
She's willing to go there.
Yeah. And so Channels claims this is his first court appearance that happened last week. That's why it's in the news. And he claims that he alerted Omaha police and state troopers that this was going to happen, but there's no proof of that. So that's what the big thing is.
Wouldn't
Now
they
he's
have been
being
like, no? If he
Oh, yeah, they would've been
explains
like,
it to him,
absolutely
like,
no.
I'm going to fire a bunch of blanks in the parking lot, and then I'm going to have fake dead people laying out
Yeah.
in front.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
The
You-
cops would be like, sir.
Don't respond to the.
I was paid.
Yeah. So this is the craziest part of it all, though. Quote, as the ordeal settled down after people are done jumping out of windows, prosecutor John McKenna said that Channels went around asking hysterical employees just crouched on the ground, just crying, if they wished they had a gun. And if they were like, yes, he then suggested they could purchase one from him, complete with
nice.
lessons. So he then started a sales pitch for guns and lessons to make sure
for
that
lessons, yeah.
yeah, if this really
At his
happened, they'd
dojo.
be prepared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taekwondo and gun training.
Yeah. Yeah. So
He's like
He's-
Now, who's the
like a
idiot that brought this guy in?
stereotype. He's a stereotype of like a dude that would do this, but would have like a Taekwondo gun range. Like
Yeah,
a
he's
small
like even
town.
crazier than the foot in the fist way. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's terroristic threats. He's the $300,000 bond. He's on trial. So they're Pat, your question.
It's not his
lawyer-
fault though,
Right. They're trying to figure out who the fuck hired
unless
him.
he did it on his own.
Well,
do you
so
want me to stop screaming at you?
Unless it was an unsolicited
It wasn't
shooter
unsolicited.
training.
no, he was
Someone
paid
him
$3,000.
Paid him $1,000 up front.
Yeah, they were gonna pay him $3,000 for three. This
Oh
is
my
they wanted them to do this 3 times.
To the same
Did,
building.
Yeah,
did they?
it's
Are
the
they
same
gonna
company.
like? obviously they're gonna go to court. I can't wait to see, like, did they like talk about what he was gonna do? Like, so the management was aware.
It's best I don't talk to even you about what I'm going to do. I want everyone to be unawares.
Oh yeah, he said he didn't want them to tell anyone.
I'm not
That's
going to tell you
exactly
what
what he said.
day. I'm not going to tell you how it's going to happen.
One day I'm like, what show up.
Okay, so they do this.
Fucking idiots.
They do this with pen testing, right? Like, so security pen testing. So they'll hire someone who's a like a social engineer to come and try to break into your building, but it's one guy trying to break into your building, and he or she has a card on them. It's a get out of jail free card. If they get busted, it's that's what it is. They're taking that model and applying it to the fucking mass shooting and sending this guy in with a fucking loaded weapon.
What are they going to learn?
Are faking to being shot.
Yeah, they're going to learn to be scared to death. That's all they're learning.
It's the most insane training method I've ever heard of.
Can you imagine?
How?
Can you imagine
I don't
this
understand
guy with
how.
a toothpick in his mouth, like if he dressed up for Razor Ramon for
No,
Halloween.
I mean, it would work. It would
looked like
work.
a cucumber.
What business thinks that they can fire off blanks at work and get away with it without getting sued? Like, much less like the fake bloody people on the ground to cause the emotional trauma. Just firing the blanks. Like, how the fuck could you think that is going to get by?
I think we could get to the bottom of it with a one-to-one lookup. Who at that organization also takes Taekwondo classes?
Yeah, I think you're right,
That's
Mark.
who did it.
Yep. No, he's my Taekwondo instructor.
After Taekwondo class, this guy's in someone's ear.
And he's
might want to watch the windows at about 11:15. Old Pumpkinhead's gonna roll up here and make us safer. Stage a mass shooting.
Oh, he's good. Trust me, he's real good.
Yeah, he's cheap too.
Some yellow belt in his
Paid him
clothes.
$3,000 for all three offices.
Show him a video from his Taekwondo training. Look at him. Yeah, it's like Napoleon Dynamite all over again.
Put a demo on in the parking lot.
Yeah. So anyway, he's in big trouble.
He shouldn't be. Whoever hired him needs to be.
Yeah,
they said that he went completely against what he said he was going to do as far as
of course
like the
they're going to say
extremities
that,
he
but
took.
he could.
Yeah. They didn't know about the blood, the fake.
This is definitely not the type of guy that got it in writing either. He didn't get it in writing, so he's going down.
He's like smashing windows in cars.
No,
Dude, what if this is just a setup? This could just be a setup to fucking get this guy out. Like, it could just be someone who hates this guy.
Well, after he's done here, he's going to go to jail for being a pedophile too. So I mean,
Right.
he's,
Don't forget that part of it.
Yeah.
I'm saying someone on the inside of Catholic Charities might have just set this dude up to get him sent away.
Right, to get him busted for being a pedophile? Yeah,
Maybe.
Or hopefully so.
I don't know.
It was the mother of the 12-year-old.
I hope that's
girl.
the case.
Yeah.
Sweet justice. Well, not even. They should just
No, they need to throw this guy under
kick his
the jail.
ass every day for the rest of his life. For
Imagine this
fucking
guy sipping through a straw.
Yeah.
This
Trying to
thin
eat
mouth.
trying to eat corn.
Yeah, trying to eat corn, it would take forever.
There's no way.
A corn on the cob.
Yeah, no
That would
way.
take him an hour.
He's
Anyway.
like a sucker fish. He's like it's like one of those fish that clean the side of the tank. Its mouth is that small for the rest of his body.
How many marshmallows can you fit in your mouth? One?
Imagine that guy trying to make out with someone.
Yeah.
Make out with a prostitute.
Oh, man.
What
You
rest of
have
your
to have
lips?
excellent aim to hit his lips.
Yeah.
You have to
No
have
tongue
eagle eye
can get
vision.
inside those lips.
Probably a dark thought. I mean, that's why he likes kids.
Yeah, maybe.
Lip thing.
All right. Well, we'll could be posted on old John and the trial that is now underway.
Oh, God.
See if he
Throw
can
him
prove that he
Fuck
did
John.
actually alert the cops, which he claims he did. But
Yeah, but we don't even care if he gets arrested for that offense. It's the child abuse.
Right.
Right.
The kid sex.
That's
really
Taekwondo
should be the issue
abuse,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. But glad he got caught. Man, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Get those pedophiles off the street.
Pretty
Wheel
great.
time.
Wheel. Who's the cup of coffee in the big time tomorrow? It's still spinning. Looks like it's going to be back to back for
Oh,
Will.
double dip.
Backy back.
Look at that.
Sit.
Double dip for Will.
One more
He is
spin.
going to be TikTok International Moment.
Looks like Pat.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go.
All right, there's the lineup for tomorrow. Will on coffee, Pat on TikTok. Again, check out that promo code. What is it, Will?
Predictit.org/promo/hardfactor60. Go to that specific URL to get your first 60 matched at the stock market to politics. That's $120 total to gamble on the elections this year.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely. It's fun. It's a lot of fun as elections ramp up. It's the only way to get into the political.
It really is. I mean,
craze.
midterms
It's
are going to
so
suck
much fun.
without it.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, that's it for the show. We love you, and we hope you have a great fucking day.